Okay, so hi guys, this is me, Alex, and today I have with me Saint Keeks as usual, and today we're gonna talk about the preview of the game against Espanyol, and we're gonna start with the player we've been linked with in the recent weeks with Juan Garcia, and he can be our future as well for replacing Oblak as well. So we're gonna talk about him. So Saint Keeks, what do you think about him?
I think he has been a phenomenal keeper, a clear standout player for Espanyol this season. One of the better keepers this season too. He's been consistent shot stopper. You know, he's showing that not to be disrespectful to Espanyol, but it's like he's right now he's destined for like a top team. And considering we are not sure with the future of Oblak, he got a recent extension, but we don't know if he's gonna stay, if he's gonna go to the Premier League. We're not sure. Having somebody who is almost a guarantee in the long term who can take up his mantle would be fantastic to me. This is always a sort of a fear because keepers are not. You can't guarantee anything with keepers, to be honest. You know. Um, so to see what he's been doing, like some like day in day out for Espanyol, the fact that every time somebody plays Espanol, you go to any discussion on La Liga, you'll be like, oh, look at Juan Garcia again, being constantly stopping saves, constantly whatever. And it's like I don't think that their centre backs are particularly insane, but yeah,
Okay, and especially the price as well, because he's gonna come in for 20 million as well, you know. And then we're gonna talk about Oblak is now what 32, 33, and we need a good replacement for Oblak, obviously. And this is the play we're looking at him, and I think tomorrow is gonna be a pretty good day for him, to showcase his qualities because as always we've always been about short stoppers, we never really considered a goalkeeper who has some good skills in ball playing as well, because what really matters to us a player who has good um he can stop our goals and can be really good with reflexes as well. And what do you think about that?
I think he's great. Um, I think I have some stats here. For instance, is like he's still right now. I think he's if you were to rank him in terms of his overall stats for goalkeeper's contribution, he's among the best. So it's like he's saved at least 5 goals worth of shots, like compared to the xG he's faced um, so far this season. He's constantly he's making about almost 4 saves per game at this point in time. You know, every time you bring up what he can do, I think honestly is a matter of time until he eventually gets to the Spanish national team squad because they already have Unai Simon, they have Alex Romero, then they have David Raya. But I think he can be that guy who's all of three of those keepers, great keepers, mind you. Romero is currently tied with Oblak for clean sheets, but I think if you're being serious, I think he is that one step above them, and I think it's something to watch out for. And so I think on the day itself, I think when we play in Espanol, we have to get those shots to matter. So, yeah.
That's true. That's true. Because when we bought Opla from Benfica, he was pretty young as well, and look at him. He's been a legend for a club, and now he's been he's getting towards the end of his career, and
Hmm.
I think we just hope if we buy Juan Garcia, he can continue with that long streak as Oblak, and he can be that keeper for us because whenever we bought a keeper, they've never been able to replace Oblak, whoever it is, Juan Musso. Then we bought Benjamin Lecomte as well from Monaco,
He didn't
and
play.
yeah, they didn't play
He
any
didn't
game
play.
exactly. Yeah, didn't play any game. And then before that we had Ivo Grbic as well from Croatia.
Yeah.
He played a few games, but again, Oblak is just different guy in the goal. So replacing him is gonna be big shoes to fill. So that's gonna be an interesting watch. And anyway, getting back to the game as well, in the first half of the season when we played Espanyol, we had plenty of chances, and we literally missed all of them. To be honest, like Sorloth was just like getting like into the team, and so like, what do you think? Like, can we actually like get better out of this team? Since like they beat Real Madrid as well. To be honest, like they beat Real Madrid, I think 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1-0 exactly. So like at home, like they're pretty good, to be honest.
Right. So they they're unbeaten at home in the past 8 matches. So they haven't lost at home since Sevilla in October. Um, so they've drawn or won almost every other games, and they're on a pretty good streak in that sense. But what I would say is the last time we played them was the first time we did the Julian Alvarez Solot duo up front, and I think as the game went on, we were slowly getting some kind of momentum. I think this was one of the few times Simeone made a mistake in his substitutions, where he subbed on Griezmann for Alvarez a little quite soon after the second half, and it kind of messed with the momentum because you went from, oh, we kind of building a connection here, the chances are kind of piling up and all these other things, to almost like a reset. And like, not to say that Griezmann was poor because he was great in that game, but it's like it took a little while before our chances keep like ramped up again. And even then, it was just like it's one of those games where the ball just didn't go in the net. If you look at the total amount of shots, the chances that we created, is like that could have been an easy 3-0 game in the first maybe 20 minutes. Honestly, this could have been a complete blowout, but it didn't happen. It was one of it's just ball didn't go to the back of the net. Yeah, they just accept that and move on. Think Espanyol since then have remedied a lot of their out of possession flaws. Not to say that it's still good, but
Uh,
yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's more of a more respectable team, more things to look out for, more things to be a little more aware of, and the relegation contender at this stage in the season. So it's not always it's not going to be an easy game, you know. So yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like because like when you face the teams like who are like competing for like the staying in La Liga, so, like they're fighting for like every points, and this is not gonna be like a ordinary game. Like we have to like fight for those 3 points because like we have 10 games left in La Liga as well,
Hmm.
and like we should be like like aiming to get like the 30 points out of like the 30 points, because again because we are like 7 points behind Barcelona as well, and then we are 4 points behind Real Madrid as well. So we are in the third position, and like we should be aiming for the like every win, to be honest, in the next 10 games. Okay, and this is what I hope. But again, like the away games has not been that much good for us. Okay, but yeah, okay. Like who should be the like the player to watch out for us in this match?
For Espanyol, I think the main guy to look out for would be Hafi Cuadro. Um, he has 8 goals so far for Espanyol. He's been almost the guy for them. He's been wherever they need him to be, he is. So sometimes he starts on the right, you'll see him completing a play on the left. Sometimes he'll be trying to help out in central. Then he's already on the left hand side defending for these other places. So it's like he's been the main mantle for them. I know Pierre Mia, who was previously with Elche, who was having a really good time at Elche, hasn't really replicated his form, so maybe might be scary to look out for. But more importantly, would be probably their fullbacks in Carlos Romero and Omar Hilali, where while not the best, they have been standouts so far this season. With Carlos Romero being same guy who scored against Real Madrid, although some people say he should have gotten a red card against Real Madrid, which is probably true, honestly. But as arbitration is arbitration in La Liga, you'll never get good arbitration guaranteed in La Liga. That's just par for the course. And then Omar Hilali, who has been really good so far this season as a right back. I think his stats have underplayed how good he has been for Espanyol. So yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And if you focus back on the first game as well, like we have plenty of chances. I think we could have like killed the game the first half itself, but like we didn't, and then like Espanyol had like pretty good chances as well in the second half, where we they could have like literally like like gone like 1-0 up, but like luckily for us like they didn't do that as well. So what kind of like game are you expecting in the match?
Um, it's a rotated squad. Uh,
And
if we
especially because like Julian Alvarez won't start, Rodrigo De Paul he won't start as well.
right,
So we're gonna have the like front two of Griezmann and Sorloth, and then the midfield of Gallagher. Like especially like let's talk about him.
hmm
Gallagher would start like for the first time. I think he start in his like favorable position in the center midfield. He won't start in the left midfield option, and I think like this match for Gallagher should be like a pretty good one, like to showcase his like himself, like what was he like in Chelsea,
hmm
and this is a match like where he should step up for me. What do you think about that?
I think I think Gallagher's been somewhat interesting for Atletico because he's been used in a lot of different places. He early in the season he was used as a DM as a substitute because Barrios was injured and Koke was tired from playing so many games in a row. He was used at the left hand side. As we've mostly seen him so far this season, he was
Like
used.
and the fact that like he hasn't been that poor as well. Like left hand side, like he's been pretty good as well. Like we've seen against
Yeah,
Barcelona, we've seen
right.
against Real Madrid as well. Like in the Champions League, like he scored the first goal for us, like in the first minute as well. And
He's been a very good player for us,
he's
regardless of what things. Yeah, so it's just like it's interesting to see him on the left, considering what we saw in Chelsea and in Crystal Palace. We saw him heavily on the right and almost as a winger at times, or even a second striker, where he would create a lot of chances from that right hand side or crash the box and these other things, similarly to how Bellingham does for Real Madrid. And he would rack up some goals and assists from doing these things regularly, and he'd make these off the ball runs. And so I personally am not a huge fan of him in the double pivot, but it's not like he when we played Elche in the Copa del Rey, he was good. He played alongside Koke. They played a really good game. I enjoyed everything I saw about it. And I'd like to see a similar thing here today. I'm not sure you'll get the same synergy with Barrios because Koke kind of compensates a lot of times for our players' inefficiencies that Barrios may not have the experience to be able to do. But that's not to say that I don't want them to be able to do that. They have some time together because Barrios and Gallagher didn't get called up. So they could have been working out some of the idiosyncrasies in that 2 week period of time. So it's nice. I want to see them. I know I there was thoughts of Aspilicueta starting on the left back. Something to look forward to. We um saw it against Real Madrid in the Champions League, and it was pretty good as well. So I'm looking forward to what the lineup is. If it reports to be true, then we're getting a backfull of Aspilicueta, um, Lenormand, Longley, Llorente, and then we're getting a midfield of Lino, Barrios, Gallagher, Giuliano, and then we're getting Griezmann and Solot. And it's like that's a fairly good 11. It's not our best 11, obviously, but it's a good 11, and I think we should be able to try and get the results of getting those 3 points right from international break. We'll see how it works out. I hope everything works out well and we get those 3 points. So, yeah.
yeah, true. Because like also the fact that like we've been coming from like a good international break as well. Like our players have been like pretty like in good form as well. If you talk about Alvarez and like Rodrigo De Paul, Juliano Simeone, and then Sorloth coming from Norway as well.
Right.
And if you, even Ronaldo actually like he for his country like he's very good as well. Oblak
hmm
kept good a few good clean sheets as well for Slovenia. And I
hmm
think like just like as Simeone said in his like press conference, like the team is like pretty like is energized. Okay, like they've forgotten about that the previous week, which was a disaster to be honest. Like we lost against Real, we lost against Barcelona after like getting that 2-0 lead. But like now the team is like pretty energized. Like they are motivated enough, and I think like it's all to play for because like at this point I think like we should play every match as a final because like we only have like 10 games to go. Barcelona is like 7 points ahead of us. Real is
Hmm.
like 4 points ahead of us. So like for me, I think like we should play every match as a final for us. And then even the fact that like we don't have like a pretty a top three team to play against us, because Barca has to play Real Madrid, and then we don't really have to play against any top four team as well. So I think it should be pretty like gettable for us, the 30 points. And what do you think about that?
If we were to have a chance to win La Liga, you would have to win all 10 games, and I think we have a fairly, I wouldn't say easy, but an easier set of games than maybe Real Madrid and Barcelona do, considering the schedule that we have ahead. So obviously we still have the Copa del Rey to play for. We're playing at home against Barcelona, but if we were to try and win the league, Barcelona will have to play, not including Copa del Rey. They have to play almost how many games? Like I think around 10 plus games in this next 30 days. So there's a likelihood that they could drop points in between that period of time. Maybe the same thing for Real Madrid because they also have a ton of games that they have to play in that same period of time. So something to look forward to, something to be interested in. And I know both teams are picking up a few injuries here and there. Ceballos is still injured from Real Madrid. Kubasi, Olmo recently in the last game, and a few other players. You know, so something to see is to push and see what we can do with what we have. It's no longer in our control, but maybe things fall in our favor and maybe we can get something out of it. So yeah.
Sure, sure. And what should be your like favorable starting lineup for the game? Like for me, I think it's gonna be the same as as it said in reports as well. I think I would like rest the Argentine players as well, and like for example Alvarez or Rodrigo de Paul. Okay, I
Mm.
would rest them. And I think for me, like the reported lineup is the perfect lineup. Espanyol again, like they're fighting with the relegation battle, and we should like get better out of them. But again, what would be the preferred lineup for you?
For me, I wouldn't change too much. Maybe would have wanted to see. Um, I would have wanted. The only thing I would say is the Paul didn't play really in the first game against Uruguay. So I was thinking to myself, maybe he has enough time to rest. But then I was like, it's probably for the best that he takes a little bit more time off and just cools down. Giuliano seems to have an endless engine, so just slap him on. We'll see what happens. Um, I would have probably liked to see Ronaldo a little bit, but I don't think that they have that much of a dangerous, we call it wingers, that I don't think Aspilicueta will be that deeply, like they're not that fast in that sense, but it's like I don't see Aspilicueta having that much trouble. He may have some because again, Harvey Poirot, but overall, I think it should be fine. I think we should be able to see a good result if play to how I imagine in my head. I think this is a good lineup. Maybe we'll see Raquel May. Maybe we'll see Ryan Belaid, who young boy who got called up to the squad recently. So he's on
No,
the squad list.
I don't think so. Like the last 10 games, I don't think so. Like it's gonna
Maybe
be.
not. If we get an early result and a good result, like let's say we finish the first half with like a 2-3-0, right? Maybe in the second half he'll come on. He'll get to see a little bit of him. He'll get his debut, hopefully. But it, I'm speaking in hypotheticals in terms of that because Espanol is not easy at home, so shouldn't focus too much on trying to underplay what Espanol is. So yeah.
Yeah, again, like it's a Catalonia team, so obviously I understand. But anyway, like to end this conversation naturally, like what should be your like final prediction of the game? For me, I think it should be pretty much 2-0 victory with like Sorloth and Alvarez goal coming off the bench as well. What about you?
I'd also say 2-0. I think we should aim for that clean sheet, and I think maybe Griezmann scores. Maybe Sola and Griezmann, because Griezmann didn't have to play the international break. So, well, we'll see. But yeah, I think 2-0 as well. So I think we're both agreeing it on that one there.
They pretty good. So thank you guys for watching us today, and please like and subscribe us, and like we'll see you guys towards the end of the weekend, where we'll talk about the preview of the game, and hopefully it's a good game, because like we can be like like have a pretty good game, and then we can talk about the good points as well. And because this match, I think like every match from now on should be like the final for us, because like we have to take like every 3 points coming on our way, and then we'll see you guys in the upcoming days. I think like tomorrow only we can do the show. And thank you so much, and thank you Saint Keeks for joining us today. And
Yeah.